Raw is absolutely jam-packed, and with Rhea Ripley being back, there is a new energy to the show. The Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Dom Mysterio angle continues to get interesting. We also have Damian Priest and Gunther's match at SummerSlam gaining some good hype. Then we have the increasingly anti-establishment Drew McIntyre and the CM Punk scenario going on, with Seth Rollins in the mix as well. Of course, there's the entire Chad Gable and the Wyatt Six thing going on as well. Jey Uso is now trying his luck on Rhea Ripley to the utter dismay of Dom Mysterio. We have the entire women's division with Selena Vega, Joey Stark, and so on. Sami Zayn's incredible Intercontinental Championship run. Just so much going on Raw. Where does one begin with this recent episode? Well, let's just talk about the most interesting segments. So the first segment of the evening is with Rhea Ripley coming out to challenge Liv Morgan for a match at SummerSlam so that she can get her championship back. When she demands Liv Morgan to come out to the ring, instead what we get is Dom Mysterio coming out with a rose with his own goal of trying to fix things with Rhea. Obviously, she's ignoring it. She's not having any of this. And before Dom can say a word, we get a video of Liv Morgan, clearly not comfortable enough to face Rhea face to face. So she's there on screen. We have a bit of back and forth, and the match at SummerSlam is official. Rhea Ripley is strong, and she is back. Pretty awesome stuff. Throughout the show, we have backstage segments where Dom Mysterio is constantly trying to make it up to Rhea Ripley. One interesting angle which I see is Damian Priest, as if he's having fun seeing Dom being pushed in the corner. He keeps poking him. At one point, Jey Uso comes up to both of them and basically asks if Rhea Ripley is single. This obviously rubs Dom the wrong way. Damian Priest actually tells Dom, you know what? You gotta teach Jey a lesson. And Dom is like, yes, I gotta teach Jey a lesson. And ultimately, this leads to a very unusual match. Dom Mysterio versus Jey Uso. When Rhea Ripley hears about this, she asks Dom if he's an idiot. Obviously, Dom says that, you know what, mommy, I can do anything for you. I can do anything for you. And basically, he's like this warrior on a mission, this little flimsy warrior on a mission to prove his love and loyalty to Rhea. The match itself was actually pretty entertaining. We actually saw Dom actually holding his ground pretty well. There were some good moments in the match, some nice back and forth, Jey Uso getting the upper hand, and at times Dom Mysterio getting the upper hand. It was a fairly good match. At one point, obviously, Jey Uso did get the upper hand. This is when Liv Morgan interferes to save the day. Ultimately, what we see is that typical scenario where Liv Morgan is pushed. She falls on top of Dom in a compromised position. Obviously, Rhea is back, so her music hits. She comes out to see this situation. Dom is like, no, it's not what you think. You don't understand. Once again, he has some explaining to do. He's trying to make it up to Rhea. He gets distracted. And ultimately, this distraction leads to Jey Uso getting the upper hand and winning the match. Another interesting segment is when Raw manager Adam Pearce comes out to the ring. But he's not alone. He comes down with two referees. He then goes on to demand that Drew McIntyre apologizes to these referees for putting his hands on them out of anger. He makes it clear that not just the audience, but even he is very hyped for the CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre match. Everyone wants it, I want it, you want it. However, he makes it clear that if Drew McIntyre does not apologize, then this match is not happening and Drew McIntyre's suspension will continue. Drew McIntyre justifies himself, he defends himself, he even bitches about the referees, he blames the referees for not, holding their ground and for allowing CM Punk to constantly interfere in his matches and get in his way. He refuses to apologize and just justifies. This is a very interesting segment, I love it. The audience was everyone was into it, right? Everyone's into this rivalry between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. When Drew McIntyre refuses to apologize, of course, Adam Pearce says that his suspension shall continue, and this pisses Drew McIntyre off, and again, he puts his hands on the referees, but this leads to Seth Rollins coming out, and we have a back and forth between Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins. So this is cool, man. This is cool. I don't know whether we're going to get CM Punk and Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam or whether it's going to be a triple threat match. between Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. But either way, man, I'm hyped. I'm looking forward to whatever path the WWE chooses. Chad Gable's segment was interesting as well. When I think of Chad Gable, I think of this heel, of course, but with a bit of a comical touch. Unintentional, right? He's unintentionally this sort of like comical, exaggerated heel character. On this episode, he comes out with some backup. He comes with the Creed brothers, and he basically calls out Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy. It's just such an over-the-top scenario because of the way the Wyatt Six have been represented, but he calls out Bo Dallas nonetheless. He wants this entire scenario to end. He's had enough. Surprisingly, Bo Dallas does come out. However, to no music, he just walks out, which is interesting, right? We were expecting the lights to shut at this moment. Ding, ding, ding. That didn't happen. Bo Dallas just comes out normally, and he's beaten up. He's beaten up by the Creed brothers and Chad Gable. However, he laughs, right? And each time he's beaten up, he laughs. So we know something's gonna happen, and eventually the lights do shut off, and the rest of the Wyatt Six come out. This is the first time we see the Wyatt Six in full glory in the ring. Unfortunately, the Creed brothers and Chad Gable managed to escape. One fear I have is that I really hope that this entire Wyatt Six thing keeps its momentum up. It's very difficult to mix superstition with wrestling. And in this segment, although it was entertaining, I felt something was off. Overall, it was alright, but they didn't really seem that scary, and each time you see them, that fear factor seems to be getting reduced, which shouldn't happen. The SummerSlam match between Damian Priest and Gunther gets some good build-up when both Damian and Gunther have a face-to-face in the ring. Both give wonderful promos. It's interesting when a heel like Damian is actually cheered, since Gunther is more so disliked by the fans. Personally, I feel Gunther deserves to be the champion. He's been an Intercontinental Champion for a very long time. I just feel this is the next big step for Gunther. The final segment / match of the evening is Sami Zayn defending his Intercontinental Championship against Ilya Dragunov. This was a fantastic match, and Ilya Dragunov is really proving to be a new force in the WWE. He's a new guy, he's young, but he's definitely given the push, right? He's given the push. He gets his first Intercontinental Championship match, and he seems to be proving himself. He has some good spots. You know, he kicks out multiple times. Even Sami Zayn kicks out multiple times, but you see it's a stiff competition. And it was a fun match to watch until Braun Breaker comes out. Braun Breaker interferes, he spears Ilya Dragunov, then he spears Sami Zayn in the ring, another huge force to reckon with, and obviously Braun Breaker stands tall at the end. This was a jam-packed episode. Lots of things going on. I mentioned in my previous video how on SmackDown, the Bloodline seems to be ruling the show. On Raw, however, nobody rules the show. I'm excited about Liv Rhea track, just like I'm excited about the Drew CM Punk Seth track or the Damian Priest versus Gunther track. Just more going on. At this moment, I'm just looking forward to SummerSlam. I know you guys are too. The hype is on. Well, that's that, guys. Please do share and subscribe to my channel. The goal is to grow as big as I can. Till next time, cheers.